Sure. These aren't gonna die out on us, right?
No, I just,
Oh,
they would already be dead.
word. Word.
Hi. Hey there.
That was rough. That was tough. Hello. How you doing?
How's it going? Welcome back to Coming Up for Air, an introspective podcast.
I'm in bully mode today. I'm not gonna lie.
your co-host Jaxon. My mic's all fucked up.
Why you fucking up your mic, bro? I'm your co-host, Brendan. You already know the deal. Gang shit.
And today we're talking about dopamine.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead.
I just been on this kick, and like this dude, his name's Andrew Huberman. And I just been on this kick about like how dopamine works and like how it just affects your day to day. You know what I mean? I'm slowly been trying to like dial in on like little things to like change and like obviously help me out and like so that way I can focus on the shit I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm just kind of getting into that and basically like what dopamine is and like what it does for you or, you know, daily functions and shit.
A lot of science there.
There's a lot of science. This is why there's a lot of fucking notes on there, bro, because I was not remembering any of that shit.
There's a lot.
It's a good amount.
So if you couldn't tell, Brendan's kind of leading this one. We've been doing this thing lately where we've been kind of swapping back and forth for the most part, who's picking the topic and what to talk about, which allows for more of a dynamic that lets us switch who is kind of leading most of the conversation and guiding things. Let us know what you think of that. How you feel so far about it?
Yeah, I've been trying to
past like 5 or 6 episodes.
Yeah, I've been trying to carry my weight and fucking do something other than just sit here and be a part of this.
Speaking of people sitting and doing nothing, Brendan, you want to hit your check-in? You want to talk about the person who lost?
Oh yeah, bro, the fact that Jake Paul lost in an 8-round split decision to Tommy Fury is insane, bro. Because the amount, like, obviously, I don't think you pay attention to like Jake Paul and any, but the amount of
like him.
but the amount of buildup and bullshit that's been happening coming up to this fight is literally insane. So Tommy Fury's older brother is Tyson Fury, heavyweight
world champion
of the world.
Yeah,
big, white, long, giant motherfucker, bro. Knocked out Deontay Wilder.
Long, so weird.
Took a hit to the face multiple times, got knocked out by Deontay Wilder. That man is insane. He's goated. You know what I mean? On the other hand, his brother, amateur pro boxer right now, and I think he's had a couple fights. I'm pretty sure he's undefeated.
Mostly expeditions and shit.
Yeah, just kind of like working his way up, you know? And, bro, his brother and father literally told him that if he lost to Jake Paul, he could not be a boxer and he would have to drop their last name. They would literally get disowned from the family.
The dropping the name part's a little extreme.
Well,
but maybe you stop boxing.
Well, it's because like they're like, yo, if you lose to this YouTuber ass motherfucker who's literally disrespecting our sport and thinks that anybody can just walk in here and become a combat athlete, you're bugging. Like, and because he's faced Tyron Woodley, which is retired. Don't get me wrong, Tyron Woodley in his prime was
really strong,
bro. Pound for pound, one of the nastiest motherfuckers to step in a cage. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Anderson Silva, got
the cage. Do you mean is it
like
boxing
MMA
or MMA?
Well, he fought MMA fighters. So
okay.
So Anderson Silva and Tyron Woodley both were MMA fighters. They were UFC fighters.
But Jake Paul lost in boxing, right?
Yeah, they boxed. They were in a boxing match, but their career is in UFC.
Yeah.
And so he faced off against 2 champs and knocked them both out. But they were both retired after their prime. They've taken a lot of hits to the head. Yada yada. Say what you want. Blah blah blah.
UFC is different than boxing.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. They were good fights. Everyone says what they said. Jake Paul's first fight or first couple fights, like Nate Robinson was one, but Nate Robinson's like 5'9", and it looked like he was just ragdolling him, like it was just fucked. So Tommy Fury was like the first person who's like coming up, really good build.
Actually seems like a boxer.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So Jake Paul had to eat his fucking words, you know what I mean? And just the build up to it, and like Jake Paul went to one of Tommy Fury's like exhibition matches going up to like his fight, and he was in the stands, and like their dad like crawled out of the ring, and like Tyson was like, they were all like fucking cursing each other out and shit like that, and like it was a huge, like, because obviously Jake knows how to sell a fight, like Jake knows how to create controversy and just stir the fucking pot.
The title of this podcast is going to be Jake Paul, big baby man dies in boxing ring.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a clip that is going viral right now that when Jake was getting interviewed and Tyson like comes up to him, and so obviously again, Tyson is a giant, right? His arm is like two of mine, right? And so the way Jake like explains it, he's like, it's like an extendo arm, right? Because in the clip he like fakes like he's gonna go hit Jake, but he was like, bro, by the time I could react, all I saw was a bear claw in my fist, bro. And so the clip is like him jumping, and like he was actually scared. And he was like, yeah, he was like, that's probably one of the biggest downfalls of my career, 110%. He was like, he definitely caught me slipping, like for sure. Like he was like, I've never seen something like that, bro. He was like, I knew he was big, but, and he's like talking to the camera. He's like, but from the camera to me, he was like, his face or his fist was already in my face before I could even fucking blink. He was like, it's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
That's a real boxer.
Yeah, and it's also a
who's, like,
freak of
fucking
nature. Yeah, he's a freak of nature, bro.
I feel like it's weird that society as a whole, like in the entertainment content creation portal, has kind of been like, boxing is the shit now. We're back in it, baby. Boxing's it again. Woohoo!
Well, I'm just kind of glad that we've come back to like combat sports, like, because for a while it was just like for people who still enjoyed combat sports for what it is and stuff like that, and obviously there were still like huge fights, but I feel like now obviously like social media and like again the stir up of like so many different characters.
I feel like content creators is the main part, because now there's things like Creator Clash, and then like Ludwig did chess boxing. Like there's all these boxing events that are being held by creators that get people into boxing and stuff like that. And boxing, you know, is like a gateway drug to other, you know, combat sports.
Yeah, and a lot, but on the other hand,
I do love me some boxing though.
Yeah, and on the other hand, you have all the old heads like who are upset about, you know, like, oh, like this is like like people give their lives to this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think on the other hand, you also have to account for like people like all the old heads and like, you know, pro boxers and like real boxers,
and I
quote
think
unquote.
that there's kind of a learning curve that'll happen where people will understand there's a separation between content creator boxing and like professional boxing. And I think for the most part there is a general consensus, but there's a loud minority, like always, that is kind of like same shit.
Yeah, and so even the content creators like who do the training, like building up, they're like, dude, this is the hardest shit I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, no.
Like going into training for a fight, like your discipline and your regimen is fucking nuts. We see it with UFC. Like Paddy the Baddy is this fucking Irish or Scottish. I'm sorry, let me not get that fucked up because that's a big thing.
That's a big thing to fuck up.
No, I know, and it's like the same thing with Puerto Rican and Mexicans. Like we get offended. You know what I mean? Like you can't. So that's my bad.
I don't got that.
Yeah, that's my bad. What's it called? And after his fight, he fucking gained like 40 pounds. The motherfucker just ballooned up, right? And they were like, dude, his regimen just shed all that fucking weight and get like cut weight for UFC. It's like not healthy. Like they basically kill themselves. That's why their lives don't really go past 50, 60. They usually die, end up, you know, besides the
like
head kicks.
Like, there's a lot of like physical trauma that like once it's ticked that box, like you can't necessarily recover. That's the only reason why I don't want to get into like boxing.
I really want to get into boxing so bad.
I really do too, but I'm also like, sometimes I realize, one, we're kind of late into the learning how to box game, and two,
never
like,
too late, bro. Content creators are literally doing it at like 24,
that,
25,
like,
26,
trauma,
27.
Anyway.
Damn, sound like a little bitch.
True.
Like, bro, what if you get in a street fight, dog, and that motherfucker knows how to box and you don't? You're fucked.
I know how to fight.
Fighting and boxing are completely different, bro. Like, if you know...
Yeah, but I can't straight box punch somebody necessarily without breaking my wrist.
Yeah, but if you know how to actually, like, defend yourself, keep your hands up, yada, yada, do the whole thing,
I know how to do that part.
step with somebody, like, but the training part of it, like continuously sharpening the iron of it, like that's the whole point of it. You know what I mean? Like you could say like, yeah, I'm ready for it, and if someone steps up, pulls your card, you get your shit rocked.
This is a different conversation entirely.
I'm just letting you know, it's a completely different story. It's a whole different ballgame, bro. I think we should do it though. I've been thinking about Steven, the homie. He was like, I think you should get into boxing, and I was like, me too. But I'm trying to do a lot of shit right now. And boxing is a lot of money and a lot of time.
Yeah, that's also my thing, is that I have too many other things that I'm working on right now that take priority.
If you give me like an hour of you coming over, we can start boxing and just do like the basics.
Yeah.
But like that's an hour of like time.
Yeah, I know. Which is an hour that I don't really have to dedicate right now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Which obviously I know that, but it would be fire. You know what I mean? Regardless, Jake Paul took fat L. Kind of a big standpoint in his career, because we're going to kind of see how he bounces from it, or if he kind of just talks his way out of it or tries to talk his way out of it, and we'll see kind of what the media and the narrative kind of goes from there. Because apparently he has a rematch in his clause in his contract, so I'm sure he's going to try and pull it. But I mean, we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll kind of see where it goes from there. But I would like to see a rematch and see if he actually decides to bounce back and, you know, show some character and some fucking some grit, a little grit.
Yeah.
What?
Nothing.
What?
I would want a rematch just because I want him to get like first round knockout, like or TKO.
Well, and that's what I'm talking about, because it's one thing to lose a match by decision, right? Losing in general fucking sucks, especially with how much shit he talks. Like he's labeled the problem child for a reason. You know what I mean?
Amen.
So with that, you losing, you have to come back like 16 times harder, bruh. Like his villain role is either gonna be fucking on steroids now, and he's just gonna come back a monster, or he's gonna do all this talking, get his shit ran again, and then people are gonna be like, all right, well, that's the end of his career. You know what I mean?
True.
And then all like, yeah, I'm sure he has a loyal fan base. I'm sure they'll still rock with him and shit like that. But, you know, everyone else is kind of just being like, all right, next dude. You know what I mean? It's kind of how the media works. You know, once your fire runs out, and if you don't know how to keep longevity, that's why his brother's doing fantastic right now.
Also, sadly.
Yeah, if you don't watch his podcast, you'll see his fucking energy drink everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's slowly becoming a mainstream drink.
Prime?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw a coworker drinking it, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, bro. And I need to make some guap on those, bro. Right now on Amazon, bro, they're going for $44 a pack. That's $15 profit, bro, right now.
Whatever.
Just go to all the stores and just buy them all up, bro, and just start shipping them on Amazon, bro. Business.
You hear about Adin Ross?
No. Oh, he got banned?
Yeah, he got banned on Twitch.
Yeah.
So Adin Ross, content creator, he's one of the top 20 or 30 content creators on Twitch, the streaming platform.
Is he not higher?
No.
Oh.
Not anymore. But he got banned on Twitch because he released a video. Recently, he signed a contract with Kick. For those who don't know what Kick is,
Like Kick?
Oh
no, it's like a streaming.
Yeah, Kick is the streaming platform ran by the gambling company that I can't remember the name of. And
Was it Stake?
Trainwrecks, yeah.
Stake? Yeah.
And then Trainwrecks.
Oh, yeah, I did hear about this. Yeah, him, Aiden, he's trying to get Kai right now to sign over to Kick.
Well, so not even just that. Aiden released a video saying that he's also going to be streaming on Kick now. And then that's whenever they kicked him, Twitch banned him. He didn't plan on only streaming on Kick, but he planned on, streaming.
Yeah,
with
dual
him. But now
streaming.
he's exclusive.
Yeah.
Because they have a choice, from our understanding. But he also made a statement. I don't know if it was on Kick or on Twitch, but it was probably on Kick, where he was literally saying like, yeah, I know all the big streamers are going to come to Kick, and I know they're going to get Kai, they're going to get, and he drops like all like, the top 15 big streamers, a bunch of names, saying that they're all going to come over to Kick.
Well, you got to realize if they actually maintain a legit streaming,
so that's the problem.
That's the thing. Like, you have to create a legit streaming website that's going to uphold getting people's money and obviously connecting.
That's the problem.
That's what happened with like right now we're seeing Fuck, what was it? It's where Andrew Tate was before he went to prison. And Steve will do it because he got kicked off of YouTube.
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
care.
Rumble. It's called Rumble. It's another streaming service. Like, hopefully, it's another way that they uphold and can actually support what it is. Because I don't think people understand like how unique Twitch is.
Yeah, Twitch itself is an entire culture and phenomenon that has its own thing. Like even the emotes kind of transcend just Twitch culture in a sense.
Yeah, like it's so hard to like basically copy that. To be able to
Yeah,
copy
you
what
have to
Twitch is
formulate. You have to expand a culture that already exists. You know, you go onto another site and people say Pog, and it's still relevant
yeah.
to people who know that. You know, like culture. So here's the thing: Adin Ross is on this whole big kick, and uh, he has a pretty children-heavy fan base.
Mhm.
He showed porn on his stream on Kick because there's not really any TOS.
Like porn.
Yeah, like pulled up the hub and just had it chilling. He's like, I'm not gonna get banned. He also just like 3 weeks prior was talking about how important it is to like he's maintaining his body, he's practicing like good habits and all this other
Yeah,
stuff.
because like he's trying to do this transformation into like what Andrew Tate has been trying to like teach him, and like because the way because I don't know if you've seen the clip, the way Andrew explains it is like he's like, bro, the thing I try to tell Aiden, he was like, if I was 21 with his reach and his money, with my mentality right now, by the time I'm 22, I've taken over the world.
But there's a whole lot to that, which is bad.
But it's also true. Like you have to realize, like Adin Ross's reach in young men and like
I get it, which is the concern.
yeah, because obviously like it's one thing to say obviously he's trying to make these changes and shit like that and like really trying to like further himself, and then like exposing a bunch of people to porn. I mean, obviously
Well,
like not
also just
exposing.
Andrew Tate in general is just also such a big concern.
Yeah, if people don't know how to decipher the bullshit that makes him viral to like what he's actually trying to and like
No, he's just bad.
I don't think he's all bad.
There's 90% of it is bad, if not 100.
I don't know.
He does a lot of real fucked up shit and says a lot of real fucked up shit.
To be viral.
Yeah, but like that's a whole conversation in itself of like at what point is you being viral now a problem because you are influencing these people who actually are taking what you are saying and believe it wholeheartedly and are taking those things into practice.
Yeah, and that obviously is the concern. That's why I said he's not all bad because there's clips obviously.
But it is bad. Like that is because he's still enabling that. He's still pushing that, which means he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Which means he inherently is a problem.
I feel like the difference is like yes, as much as he like all the bullshit that he adds to the shit he tries to say, again, is to go viral, and it's on the people who receive that content to decipher that shit. You know what I mean? And
it is also your responsibility as a content creator to understand the message that you are sending out and what it may impact and do.
Again, yeah, I hear you. We can go back and forth, to be honest with you.
I just think he's a scumbag. But anyway, Aiden's brother ended up tweeting out saying that he doesn't even know who his brother is anymore, and that Adin Ross is a piece of shit, and he like is gonna kill his dad with how much he's making his dad worry and stuff. And
Yeesh.
that Adin Ross is like not a brother to him anymore at all. Which goes, and then Aiden basically was like, "Yeah, fuck that guy. Like he doesn't matter. He ain't shit. My family ain't shit." Da 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 da. Which goes also against Andrew Tate's beliefs because he says family is more important than anything else.
Yeah, Andrew
which
Tate.
is so wild. Because what a weird man. Andrew. Right now, I'm talking about Adin Ross.
Yeah,
he's just a weird man.
yeah,
But
and that's again like for you to he's letting not only his ego but the fact that he's letting his pull and his reach get to his head.
Kick's got other issues like the fact that there's people just having sex on the site, not being like taken down. There's people who are literally doing like drunk streams where they're fighting people like in public,
Oh
and doing
wow.
all this awful shit,
Damn.
not also being regulated.
That's not cool.
But you know what is? The gambling. Gambling's going well on there with all their stake.com sponsorships.
Yeah, that's such
Yeah.
I don't know why people haven't taken the time to like actually try and create something like relatively close to Twitch.
I mean YouTube's trying, but that's just another monopoly.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's like because of patents. I don't know if it's because of
It's really hard and costs a lot of money, and the relative trade-off is not always worth it. Because the people that are more inclined to do that are people who already have money, people who are so like that, people like me and you, for example, who don't have money and would want to make something like that and can't support it financially really, or be able to pay the people currently, and nobody wants to get on board to that when the server already exists over there.
yeah.
You know, and so you have to either have a big distributor behind you or be somebody who already has the money. And if you already have the money, why are you going to go out of your way to make this and go against either the place that you've signed a contract with or the place that like you now have to fundamentally form to make work and to make popular?
Because you would hope that there's some good human beings.
It's just too much money, time, and effort.
Like the biggest finesse we saw was Ninja, bro. He went to Mixer, copped a $3 million deal.
Same with Shroud.
Yeah.
Shroud also copped a shit ton of money, and then
it just
Mixer went under from
Yeah.
all their deals, and then they were like, eh.
Yeah, and then they were like, all right, back to Twitch, baby. They were like, all right, I got my money from Mixer that Twitch wasn't gonna give me, and I can just go back and chill on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was
And
crazy.
the crazy part is they probably also got re-signed with Twitch, where they probably made another deal and got
Yeah.
more money.
Yeah, that shit's just fucking nuts to me.
Oh, what the fuck?
The whole world of just live
Content
streaming
creation.
and content creation is just
So entertaining, so interesting.
It's fucked.
Tasty.
it's so it's like everything else though, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, we're just more involved in it.
Yeah, it's just we care about it a little bit more than everything else.
Anyways, let's talk about dopamine.
Damn, bro, we was talking for a minute, bro.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll be all right. Yeah, dopamine, dog.
Yeah, so what's dopamine, Brendan?
Let me try to remember this. Dopamine essentially is like your motivating chemical in your brain, basically.
Ryan.
It's the shit that kind of just makes you like want to achieve it basically makes you like when you achieve something and you come to a milestone or you think you're on the right path. This is exactly like word for word what Andrew Huberman said and how he explained it. Like when you're on, you know, when you think you're on the right path to something or you're on the path of excitement to something, or you get this release of dopamine, I'm sorry.
Dopamine.
And it causes you to feel like this, like you're achieving something, you know what I mean? Like you're chasing something, you're seeking for it. And in our world now, we have so many just pools of dopamine releases when it comes to social media, when it comes to porn, when it comes to like just even daily activities that we do that we don't realize that are meaningless but release dopamine and then fuck us over when it comes to shit that we actually have to do.
What is the difference between serotonin and dopamine?
So again, dopamine.
Surprise, this is just a science 101 class.
Yeah, I'm literally getting quizzed right now on what I was just doing my research on. What's it called? So your dopamine, as I just said, it's you chasing something. You know what I mean? And you like basically like going out of your
Dopamine is your positive feedback receptor for accomplishing a task.
Yeah, like it's what you're going after outside of your immediate sphere, right here. Like anything outside of your skin, basically, you're going after something. Dopamine release. You know what I mean? And serotonin, on the other hand, is like your satisfaction with it. It's almost like you're like calming, like I'm okay right now. You know what I mean? I'm at ease right now. And that's why with dopamine inducing drugs, coke and meth and shit like that, methamphetamines, that's why these people are on some 24/7. They're fucking doing shit. That's why cokeheads have superpowers, bro. Because these motherfuckers can run through a wall, sniff another one, and just keep fucking going, bro. They're superheroes. It's crazy to me.
For the amount of time that it lasts.
Yeah. And then it doesn't anymore, and then you're like, oh, that's tough.
So, yeah, drugs is a whole another topic on how it affects dopamine and other stuff. But dopamine plays a really big role in your life. It is a receptor for a lot of things, and including your health, like diseases like Parkinson's. Parkinson's are brought on by a reduced in-count of dopamine. So if your dopamine receptors aren't high enough, you can develop that. That is one of the ways you form Parkinson's. And things like I think if I'm right, I could be wrong though, so don't 100% quote me on this.
Quote him on it.
I think that
Zoom in right now.
depression is serotonin based and anxiety is dopamine related, or the other way around. And then there's another brain related, like a neural disease that is related to dopamine. But there's a lot of things that are related to if your dopamine
there's an
regulation is.
It's like an adrenaline based. I put it in there. It's like
Yeah.
a non adrenaline or nan-adrenaline or some bullshit like that. And it was in there that he talked about that when it comes to like why people die out on shit and like why people give up on shit, and whether it be their dream or like a long run and shit like that, is because in our brain we have I think it's called a glia. I think I put it in quote. And it's basically a counter to your I forgot what it was. It's basically a counter cell in your brain that when it hits a certain threshold, it basically just tells like the rest of your body like I'm done, like we're quitting. And so he talks about like scientists doing experiment of changing the like your visuals.
Yeah.
And then testing people's brains and realizing that it's not muscle fatigue. Like their muscles can still go. It's their neural gas that is running out.
Yeah. Which is a whole thing. Like, there are a bunch of like, the brain is insane because it is all just like neurons and receptors and different levels of various different onins and
electricity
chemicals.
and all this shit,
that
bro.
entirely dictate your body's ability to either progress in a forward motion or degrade, basically, or deteriorate. All of those things are entirely related, usually to either dopamine, serotonin, or whatever electrons are firing.
Yeah, and so that's why he says like dopamine is the chemical to be able to push that threshold that your glia, whatever the fuck it's pronounced as, whatever it sets that line as, dopamine pushes that line back, gives you more gas.
Yeah, so wow, dopamine's really complicated. And I don't think necessarily we have 100% of like the research done to talk
we're
about.
not out here being fucking neuroscientists. This is my interest right now. This is what I'm fascinated in right now. So this is what I wanted to talk about because it's fucking crazy how the brain works.
So this is how a lot of addictions form, is through dopamine boosts. Things like
that's why people pop
drugs,
Molly,
alcohol, like whatever it might be. Cigarettes technically also release a form of dopamine. All of these things induce chemical receptors that give you a positive feeling.
Yeah.
Things like Molly, for example, like you just said.
Yeah, bro. When you see people rolling, bro, they look like they're having the fucking time of their life.
Like it severely increases your dopamine levels, which is also why the come down can be so fucked.
Yeah, that's why if you take too much or if you take some on a regular basis, that's why people end up turning into zombies.
Your dopamine levels, if they can't regulate, so you either keep hitting too high of highs, because whenever the high of highs hits, the low of lows will come.
Yeah.
And if you can't find a regulation point, you will just stay in lowers because your body is trying to adjust, or your mind is trying to adjust to the amount of highs you're having.
Yeah, and that's another thing he talks about is like your baseline. You know what I mean?
That's why people get so angry whenever they try to like quit smoking or whatever it might be, like
Yeah, because if you have this baseline, right, and you're always hitting this peak, scientifically, like it is like shown that when your dopamine is on the come down, 9 times out of 10, it is not just like setting back out. It is going below your base point, and now for a certain like period of time, you are at a below baseline of dopamine.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, which is why, like, there's ways that you can, like, that's why we see successful athletes and businessmen and people like that. Like, they regulate their time on their phone, they regulate their time on certain things that they can do because those are dopamine releases. So, the more you do shit that induces, like, obviously, like, a release of it, you're going to have less motivation.
Yeah, let's kind of talk about social media and dopamine.
It's fucked.
I think that it's not really. I think it's pretty common knowledge nowadays that dopamine is highly attributed to social media.
Yeah, that's why we have a
Vice versa, I should say.
we have a 30 second to a minute of just straight like dopamine release. That's why people are stuck to their phone.
TikTok, for example. There, and the funny thing is, everybody kind of is acknowledging the fact, especially nowadays, that social media in general is completely designed to make you stay, to make you keep consuming, to be addictive.
Yeah.
Because dopamine is an addictive drug.
Yeah, and then they dick slap you in the face like, bro, you've been on here too long. Take a break. And then they're like, JK.
Well, that's because they know that it won't work.
Yeah, but it's just like a tease. You know what I mean? Like they're literally saying like, we know that you're on here for way too long, but you're gonna keep going anyway.
That's to help regulators and other people not be on them super hard.
Yeah, it's insane.
But yeah, dopamine. How do you feel about social media and its play, or how would you tell people to prevent that like dopamine switch from social media?
It's all based off of your algorithm and what you're feeding into your phone. As you know, people like to talk about the spooky shit when like you're talking about something and then it pops up on your phone or like an ad or something like that, and you're like, "Whoa, I was just talking to that." They're listening, bro. Those ads pop up on purpose. They literally ask you to track all your shit. You know what I mean? Like when you download a new app, they literally ask you, "Will you let us track it?" And then if you say no, 9 times out of 10, they're still gonna let you.
It's just a reduced form of tracking.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But with that, it's like you have basically soft porn everywhere on every social media. On Twitter, you can actually go look at porn. On TikTok, you have a bunch of half-ass naked girls doing stuff, and like, power to you, bro. Make your money. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
But also, I got banned on TikTok for saying D's nuts.
Yeah, Valhalla D's nuts.
Yeah, so I'm gonna fucking lose it.
Yeah, like they like to pick and choose, and that's the people they've played their algorithm on how exactly what they want to push and who they want to push it to, and you know they got that shit down to a science. You know what I mean? And again, that's the part where people get stuck on their phone because once they start, you know, tracking what you like and tracking your likes and what you enjoy and shit like that, they're just gonna start feeding you all that shit, so that way you're just sitting there consuming all of it.
Yeah.
And now you're wasting your dopamine endless amounts of time, and that's why people have like screen time sets. Like I can only be on this app for maybe 30 minutes to an hour a day. You know what I mean? That's why that's why they make those abilities in the phone. People don't go out of their way to go do that. You know what I mean? But there's literally like you can set like I'm only allowed on Instagram for an hour. You know what I mean? People don't realize you can delete the icon from your homepage. You know what I mean? And you have to physically go look up, you know, Instagram in your apps for you to go into Instagram. It's like little things, bro. But people again are lazy. You know what I mean? And people don't want to make the changes.
I was gonna say I don't think necessarily it's a laziness thing. I think it's more of like a refusal to.
Yeah, like, oh, what's
adapt.
the point? Yeah, and people don't realize that like there's such little triggers and like minute triggers to the dopamine releases that we do have that when you start to regulate it and start to build a kind of like consistent regimen to your dopamine releases, and you start to really hone in on like, all right, bro, when I'm achieving these or when I'm trying to go after this, I can really lock in. Because when we see like people who really lock into those zones and like, you know, those really like concentrating states, that's because adversity has built rubs next to it. You know what I mean? And then you get to this point where they're like, yo, I want to achieve this so bad. And it just, they lock in like that.
How do you think you get to that point? How do you think you fight off that kind of dopamine burnout?
Again, he talks about it. He had a friend who did like a 30-day dopamine fasting, basically, is what you would call it. He was like, I don't advise this to most people because most people are not going to be able to do it. He was like, but he went 30 days without his phone, social media.
What's it called whenever you don't do drugs for a little bit?
A tea break?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
He did that.
A tolerance break. Yeah, but with social media and like dopamine. You know what I mean? And again, like the little things you can do is regulate your apps. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure if you go into like most people's screen times, their TikTok and shit is
At
bonkers.
least double digits.
Bonkers, bro.
Yeah.
For if you look at the week, and then I'm sure if you go into a month, you're like, you're wasting so much time of your life away.
That's the funny thing, that whenever I talk to people and they're like, Jackson, why does it seem like you're always working? Like you're always doing something. I'm like, because I'm not
on my phone.
Yeah, like the reason, or they're like, you seem so much more satisfied or happy, and I'm like, one,
fake it till you make it, baby.
Not as much as you think.
Gotcha, bitch.
Let me tell you, you're fucking wrong.
Starts crying and breaking down.
No,
I love you.
I do whenever I'm working on projects that I love. Like I do feel a lot better. Like, and it's not necessarily just because I'm getting that dopamine feedback, but because, well, I guess it is, but it's also a serotonin response of like the thing that surrounds me, the thing, my environment satisfies me. I feel like I am in a good motion.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, there's times where I do want to just like lay down and be like, I'm going to scroll on Reddit or watch YouTube for the next 2 hours. But usually I also attribute that to like, okay, I could either watch a movie, which will be 2 hours, or I could chill for 2 hours and watch YouTube. And I can pick either one of those, and that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to go do whatever the fuck I'm doing.
No.
So that's kind of how I regulate that for me, is like the movie period of time, because movies are one of the ways that I relax and that I can give time for myself.
Speaking of movies, I saw Black Panther, the new one that came out.
Yeah.
For the first time on Disney. That shit was phenomenal.
It's okay.
They did such a good job, bro.
They really talk about him being dead a lot.
I almost cried like 4 times.
They really linger on him being dead.
Have you read the comics? It's like one of the hugest losses in Wakanda history, dog.
Yeah, but it definitely wasn't because of that. It's definitely...
Obviously.
Yeah. And
they're a little upset. My man's died to cancer, bro.
Yeah, and that's my problem, is it felt a little bit more cash grabby than a...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But actor-wise, I feel like...
Oh, yeah, Chadwick Boseman dying is super depressing and so sad.
Just
but
human...
the way they executed it made me feel like it was like more of a money...
They're
like,
just pulling on the
and by
strings
the
for
way,
money.
This guy, he's dead.
Yeah.
In case you forgot.
I feel it,
But anyway, not the point.
Yeah, it was a little off topic.
But that's kind of like my thing. But I know people, I've met people, and like I've been on a date with a person and been like, what do you do? Like for fun. And like, I kind of just lay in bed and scroll through TikTok. And I was like, we're not talking after this date. Like, this date is going to end and I'm not going to want to speak to you.
How to not
nothing.
Get with Jaxon 101.
Say that I do nothing with my free time.
Yeah, just lie to him.
Do you like movies? Not really. I only like romance. Or like whatever. Like, oh, I only like this genre, and I only really watch movies that I've already seen. I'm like, okay. I'm like, do you hang out with friends? Like, sometimes. And I'm like, what is happening?
Are you human?
Yeah,
you
like,
know what I mean?
And I'm like, you're a bot. Like, you.
Yeah, we're turning into robots.
You just go home, bed, TikTok,
dude,
sleep, work.
Have you ever had moments where you see actual NPCs like in real life?
Yeah, especially doing bartending. You see the person, they walk up to the bar, like, water and a menu, please. Phone out, headbuds in, or earbuds in. Thank you. If they even say that.
That's insane.
And it's even better when it's two people. It's a couple. Do you want anything? And then usually the other person, I'll have a fucking Coke. I don't know. And the other person's like, a Coke for the lady. And a Jack and Coke for me because my dad hates me. And then they give 2 drinks.
Jesus.
And then bartender gives 2 drinks. And then they go, thank you, sir. And then they... And I'm like, dude, what is happening?
I swear I saw a robot at Safeway the other day. My man's was strapped up in a vest, white, like, old school dad, like, glasses on, with a hat and, like, camo pants. Young kid, bro. And I'm like...
He's doing his cart's hitting the aisle and he's still stepping.
No, he works there. He's putting...
That'd be even better.
He's putting away carts right now, right? And I see him, like, walk to, like... Usually anybody just walks with the fucking carts across the street. There's one section where it's like the yellow striped where you're technically supposed to walk across. This motherfucker walks with the cart back straight, like full, like he's like fucking marching, bro. Literally doesn't turn like this, drags the cart on some Terminator shit, bro. And just starts walking towards to put the cart away. I literally stopped walking and watched him do it, and I was like, "What in the?" I almost lost it, bro.
Broke.
Dude, the Matrix was glitching right there.
The code was breaking,
bro. The Matrix was glitching, dog. I was like, "This is the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life."
Yeah, dude. Sometimes, dude, it's so fucking weird just seeing just people that are
like
just turned off.
There has to be some people that just aren't real.
Speaking of like grocery stores and people who are just brain dead NPCs, I'm gonna
go off on another tangent here.
Actually, no, just tell me to do it for my come up. Just
All
remind me of the grocery store.
All right, bet I got you. I mean, we're kind of getting close anyway around there. We still got like probably like a
bit. We got a quick $5 or $10.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, to kind of go like start kind of circling back around. I think the biggest thing with kind of zoning in on your like how you really release your dopamine, like I don't think people realize how much science is available out there, how much information about our bodies and shit like that are available for free. You know what I mean? And you said it earlier even when we were talking about like people educating themselves on sex and like the opposite gender and stuff like that. There's so much free willing given information out there on what the human anatomy is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's free education on so much shit out there. Take the time to learn what shit is. You know what I mean? Spend a couple hours, do the research and go.
If you are a person who is like me and kind of gets a little sketched out by internet sources not always being truthful whenever I'm like actually doing proper research, and say, for example, you're like, oh, I just want to kind of watch a YouTube video to learn about this. I will watch or consume 2 or 3 different forms of the information about it to make sure all the facts line up.
Yeah.
So if somebody says something, I'm like, okay, and then I'll watch something else or I will read another article.
And if it's repeated, then you're like, all right, that makes sense.
If the dots are on top of each other, then I'm like, okay, we're cool. But if it's like, oh,
one's up here and one's down here,
it's like, let me go to a third one. And if the third one lines up with, column A, not column B, then I'll be like, okay, well, let's go to a fourth one. And then, like, if it lines up again with column A, then I'm like, okay, well, that one's clearly the true
we have
thing.
A consensus.
And column B, I'm just going to disregard everything they said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which obviously is like, it's a good way to do it because obviously the people who go and just take the first fucking website that is thrown on there.
Yeah, homie looks up fucking Wikipedia and
I was gonna say,
dude,
it's like one of those like
fucking knew Jon Snow built fucking Wendy's. I knew it, man.
It's like one of those like, and it doesn't say Wikipedia in full. It's just like wiki something else. So they're like, I gotcha.
It's fucking Wikipedia.
Yeah, and it's like stupid shit like that. And it's like, all right, well, like you said, watch a couple videos, do the couple, couple researches.
Or
there might be
articles, whatever.
Yeah, there might be a documentary on it where they have multiple, people in that field who are obviously suited and
Shit, even if you watch documentaries, still double check shit. There's times where like documentaries say shit and things get slipped through the cracks, or it's like a lopsided creation where it is entirely
I feel
biased.
you like
Be willing to do research. Be willing to learn. If you want to be somebody who understands how to conquer either your own fears, your body, for this instance, dopamine. Like you want to understand how to combat your dopamine levels, which is why I say the whole like don't tell people what you're working on thing, because you get that dopamine response of like I've done it, and then you start hitting that high, that low again. You start coming down from it.
yeah, you get that peak of like people who are like, oh, that's fucking sick. Like, yeah, I could totally blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you, and I feel like just a lot of people like. Obviously, like, again, we're not fucking neuroscientists, and I don't know exactly how your fucking
And
brain works, but do the research and take the time to understand how your body works, and you might end up discovering something for yourself that helps you, whether it be with depression, anxiety, sleep apnea. Like Andrew Huberman he talks about different ways that help sleeping.
Dopamine has a huge impact on your sleep.
Yeah, like if you are not,
which is also why people with Parkinson's tend to struggle with sleeping.
Yeah, didn't know that.
Yeah, because your dopamine levels are all fucked.
That's crazy.
I know a lot about Parkinson's because my dad has Parkinson's. For reference, I don't know if we talked about that on the show or not, but
I don't know yet. But imagine people are just like, yo,
I
this
don't know,
dude.
we're 40 episodes deep.
Yeah, this dude's. Yeah, everyone's like, yo, this dude randomly just knows hella facts about Parkinson's.
Well, it's never mind. It's a long story. It doesn't matter right now. Not a right now combo. But yeah, take some time. Learn about shit. I think the
couple days that people would take to just learn shit and educate themselves would do so much better in the world.
I think that it's also important that people learn the difference between serotonin and dopamine. And again, we're not professionals. We're not people who can really give you a like, oh, I'm going to teach you exactly what this means.
Yeah, I'm not about to give you a full breakdown on what this shit is and like how to just completely change your life. This is just something that we were fascinated in and wanted to talk about and kind of put our 2 cents in and what we've learned so far. You know what I mean? And kind of just throw it out there because it's one thing to kind of hear a neuroscientist talk about something or hear like an adult talk about it and then hear about people who are like kind of in your same age group, kind of talking about things like that.
Just people who like, when you reach a point where you are no longer the relatable person. You reach a point where you are now the person that I look at as, hey, you are the professional. You are a person that I can't relate to because you know too much. You are too much of this in this topic.
Yeah, we call that outdated.
No,
I'm just fucking with you.
But
I just like calling old people outdated.
It's like one of those things where you almost feel like you can't listen to them or take it entirely what they're saying because it is so presented as a 100% factual or 100% like, this is how you feel. This is how you should respond or whatever thing. It's why people also really struggle with therapy things. Is because therapists aren't always relatable. There are people who sometimes are so like, can be very not emotionless, but almost like straight to the point. I'm going to show you what the problem is.
Yeah, they're gonna cut right through all your. Yeah, they're just gonna cut through right all your bullshit.
Yeah, it's kind of like so detached that sometimes a lot of people struggle with that aspect because they don't feel like they can be related to.
Yeah, and a lot of people. That's why a lot of people say like it takes you a couple times for you to find like
you
your
have to
quote
find the
unquote
right
therapist.
person.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, all in all, like, do the research, man.
Dopamine's weird. Bodies are weird. I don't think we have a whole lot to say on it other than that, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's really much it. There's not really much I can.
I'm sure this will be a topic we revisit later whenever we either have a guest that is a lot more passionate about it or one of us gets a sudden urge and I have more time to research it.
Yeah, it's something I kind of just threw out. I don't think you expected me to talk about this at all.
No, I would have done more prep, but it was kind of like I was at work.
Yeah, no, I figured.
Yeah.
I just kind of threw it out there, and then I figured you probably wouldn't think that I was going to talk about this, to be honest with you.
No, it was kind of the last thing that I was like, this is what he's going to want to talk about. But that's how it go. Let's come up.
Hell yeah, brother. Grocery store.
Yeah, I'll go first. Brendan, Okay, so I'm gonna say something.
I'm gonna say something, man.
All right, when I go to the grocery store, I turn off. I wear earbuds, and
Yeah.
I usually have a hood on or whatever, or like I don't, whatever it might be, or
Yeah.
and if I don't have them, then I'm just like turned off. That's my time to think and just kind of zone out and like go through a checklist basically. So I do this thing where I know some sign language, so I just pretend I'm deaf. So I don't have to speak to anybody. I don't have anybody talk to me. I just kind of go about my business.
This is insane that you're saying this out loud.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Okay, all right, continue.
But it's just so I don't speak to anybody. And it only comes up whenever somebody actually like tries to speak to me. It's because I just don't like. I'm just turned off. I spend so much time.
Maybe because you look like Danny Phantom, and then they're like, "Yo, you look like Danny Phantom." Tell me the story in which you had to throw sign language at somebody.
Okay, so here's what happens, right? This is like a week ago.
Oh my god!
I had my earbuds in, and I'm looking for these protein bars when they didn't have them.
You have your earbuds in and you sign language to somebody?
Yeah.
Did they put 2 and 2 together?
No.
Oh my god!
This is the crazy part, right? And my earbuds are kind of not super noticeable, to be fair.
I don't care.
And they don't necessarily look like earbuds fully. So I am looking for these things, and then this girl like says something, but I don't think she's talking to me because my back's like turned to her completely, and so I'm just like looking for these protein bars. They didn't have them, so I had to switch it up, which is kind of sad.
Sedge.
Yeah, but so I get a tap, and it's like one of the hard taps too, where it's like,
oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I was just like, so I like turn around, and I'm kind of like, what? And she goes, "Hey, do you know where this thing is?" And I didn't know where it was. 1, but 2, I just go like I sign basically, sorry, I can't hear you. And so she goes, "Oh, my bad," and speaks louder and slower, like shouts and talks slower.
Nah, bro.
Fun fact for you guys.
Oh, no, bro.
I can read lips. It's harder to read lips if you talk slower, by the way.
Oh,
because you can't discern which vowels are actually coming out.
Yeah, and especially when people get used to like obviously listening
rapid,
and just like paying attention for it being fast.
Yeah, and so the slower it is, I can't tell what
it is.
The formulated word is supposed to be.
Makes sense. Good to know.
So she starts saying it, and I realize, because I can hear her still bleeding through because she's literally yelling. And I like, it's like kind of like cockeye, and then like I look around, and then there's a guy all the way at the other end of the aisle, and he's just box of cereal in hand, staring at this interaction happening, dumbfounded. And I was just literally like I signed again. I was like, sorry. And like, I tried to like dumb it down. I was like literally just like trying to common gesture, like, hey,
I can't hear.
No. Like, ears don't work. And so she just stares at me, and then he goes, "Ma'am, I think he's deaf. He can't hear you." So this lady looks at him and says, "Why didn't he just say that? Do you know where this thing is?" And the guy goes,
"Tell me she was white, please."
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I just
blonde girl. And she walks over, and then the guy goes like, yeah, like, or whatever the interaction happens. I just seem kind of nod his head, and I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm going back to my protein bars. And then like he passes by me, and he just goes like, and I'm like,
and he's probably like, I got you, dude.
Yeah, he's probably like, I'm the homie today.
Yeah, he's probably like, yo, that guy, I'm that guy's hero today.
Yeah, and I mean, he was. I didn't have to deal with it anymore.
That's crazy to me, though. There's, bro, that's so. Honestly, if it was any other story, I'd be like, you're fucked up. But that girl deserves that shit. Yeah. I hope she felt so stupid.
Probably not.
Probably not.
No, but let me tell you, man, it's wild. So if you ever see me in public and I'm tuned out, I'm at the grocery store.
You're getting signed
you
at.
You better hope that you can get my
He's
attention properly.
banging at the grocery store, bro. He's on smoke, bro. You walk up to him, he's gonna throw that shit up, bro. Do not fuck with Jaxon at the grocery store, bro. Point blank, period. That's insane to me, though.
What?
You need to teach me sign.
Yeah, I gotta learn more. It's like a in progress thing.
Well, we can learn together.
Okay. Brendan, what do you want to talk about?
I'm gonna just show up earlier. You need to just get out of work earlier.
That's a crazy sentence.
Yeah, you just need to just walk out
What
when
are
you want.
What are you talking about, Brendan?
Oh, my thumb. Yeah, bro, big pothead story. Kind of long story short here. But basically, I was streaming, and I went to go take a dab. And if you know how to take a dab, or if you've taken a dab before, you know that obviously you have said rig, right? And then usually you have your carb cap on top or something to kind of like cap the top of it so that way the smoke goes into the banger, yada yada, bada bing, bada boom, you smoke. Well, the top of my carb cap was already a little bit broken off. So it already had like a chipped handle, right? Excuse me. And in the middle of streaming, I go to basically kind of like push off. Because once it gets cold, once wax is already sticky. So once it gets cold, it almost like solidifies. So you kind of have to like jiggle it a little bit. But me just playing games and kind of just not thinking about it, I just kind of pushed it to try and like get it to like open up. And as soon as I did that, I must have pushed on the wrong point of the glass. And it just punctured straight into my thumb. Like, whole thing went into my thumb, dude. And I was like, oh. And then when I look at it, I'm spewing blood, bro. My man's is leaking, bro. Just straight fucking, you know what I mean? Like, that shit is spewing, bro.
Todd.
Bro, it is insane. So I'm like, oh, right? And I'm like, guys, I gotta go. Take off my headset. I run. I don't know which way. I don't know if I should go to the bathroom first or if I should just go to my dad, right? My dad is taking a shower. He has no idea what's going on, right? So in the middle of my pause, I stop right here at this door and I spray on the wall. It literally looks like someone got cut on the wall, right? And then I run to my dad. I'm like, Dad.
For reference, chat. Brendan makes this noise when he's like shocked and trying to figure out what to do. And so my headcanon of this is that like he runs out, opens the door, and then looks at the bathroom and with the blood spraying across the wall, and goes, and then like
No,
swings back and goes,
No, literally, bro. It was like, cause like I went to go to the bathroom and I was like, no, I gotta tell my dad. And as I like turned like that, it was like, and I was like, fuck, dude. And so I'm like running to the bathroom and I'm like, Dad, I cut my thumb really bad. He's like, fuck, I'll be right out. And I'm like, literally, I'm death squeezing my thumb right now to cut off all the fucking pressure right now. Circulate. Same shit. Putting on pressure, cutting off circulation, suck my pee-pee.
Whoa.
Anywho, as soon as I kind of like open it up in the Wawa, it's just like through the water, bro. And I'm like, that's not okay, dude. And my dad's like, ooh, yeah.
You got it right on a vein.
Probably.
That's the only reason why I would do it.
Well, that's fucked. That explains why the rest of my thumb was bruised pretty badly. Yeah, that's fucking dumb. You don't realize how fragile the human body is until you do something so minute that causes such a big fucking deal, bro. Like, not being able to use your thumb, I felt like a fucking giraffe. I literally felt like a giraffe, okay? Like, I felt like I couldn't just... And it's my left hand, too, so I'm at the doctor, got this shit wrapped up. They're like, here, can you sign this? I'm like...
He's left-handed.
Yeah, I'm fucking trying to sign it. They're like, sorry. I'm like, suck my dick. Fucking dumbass bitch. Hey, but I'll tell you what, though, that doctor... I'm going to that urgent care every time something's wrong, bro. That woman is amazing. 110%. Saved my life. I give her all of it. Just
5 stars.
Yeah, bro. Just amazing review. I should have called and just raved about her and be like, you guys got to get her on Dr. Phil right now, dude. I did tell her, I was like, yo, I hope you know you're in the right field. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I hope you know, like, you have a very, like...
She's like, really? You're like, no.
Well, she was like, thank you. Like, I genuinely appreciate that a lot. And I was like, yeah. I was like, because she really did. Like, when she came in, she just, like, you know how, like, how you meet people and they just have, like, a very, like, calming
She's like,
presence.
you fucked up, huh?
Well, and I told her, I was like, listen. She was like, all right, so how'd you cut your thumb? And I said, all right, I'm going to be real with you, bro. I have a pothead story for you. So she kind of chuckled. She was like, well, my smoking days are behind me, so, like, go ahead, yada, yada, this and that. And I was like, oh, you smoke? Alf Rip. I was like, yo, what's good?
I think it would have been so much crazier if you tried to make up a story, and then she was like, okay, what really happened?
Imagine? Yeah. But I basically told her what happened. She looked at my thumb. She was like, I don't think I need to stitch you up, yada, yada. But I told her, I was like, you ever meet those people where they have a very, like, calming presence, and you're just, like, at ease?
Yeah.
It was like one of those. It was so weird because obviously, like, I've never met this lady in my life, but like, I was like, yo, I hope you know you're genuinely in the right field. I was like, because there's some doctors where as soon as they get in the room, I'm like,
fuck.
I'm like, get me out of here, bro. This dude's gonna fucking kill me, dog.
I'm like, damn, dude, my guy's trying to relocate my asshole to my heart.
No, real life, bro. They're just plugging and fucking chugging it. Or like when you have a nurse that like is trying to get blood out of you, I have jumpy veins.
I hate when doctors or nurses are fucking like smart asses or sarcastic as fuck.
Oh,
to you.
I've been doing it. Blah, blah, blah.
Not
Stick
even-
misses. I'm like, I'm gonna knock you out, bro.
Not even just that, but whenever they're like belittling you for asking either questions or things that you wouldn't know, or whenever you say, "Hey, what you're saying, how I feel, is different from how I'm telling you I feel,"
Yeah.
and then they're like, "No, I know it."
They're like, calm down, kid. I know what's going on with
I'm
you.
like,
You're
"I
like,
know. All right, man, whatever, man."
yeah. So I genuinely told her, I was like, yo, I hope you know, like, I really appreciate like you as a human being. Like, you're in the right field, dog. Like, this is exactly the type of people we need in the field like this. She was like, yeah, like that gave me goosebumps. Like, I really do appreciate that. Like, yada yada, this and that. And I was like, thanks, man. So we were kind of just like fucking around and like talking about like weed and just like
One of the best compliments you can also receive is somebody telling you that you're like in the right field or you're really good at your job.
Especially in the medical field in today's society.
I think just in general, hearing that is a great thing.
Yeah, but I just think after, obviously, but after everything with COVID, like anybody medically related, if you just kind of give them a little props, bro, it goes a lot farther than you think it does. Yeah. But
Anyway,
but yeah, I mean, I
Brendan's
fucked up.
thumb looks gross as fuck now.
Yeah,
Long story short.
yeah, it's all dried up and nasty and whatnot. But
Yeah.
we're getting there. I mean, it should heal in a couple days.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for us.
You know?
Damn, audio listeners just missed out on some wild shit.
Yeah, hey, bro, they're going down, bro. I almost have no tatas. The day I have no more tatas. Oh, I'm never wearing a shirt, bro. I'm never.
Where can I find you?
At tata.com. No, I'm saying.
Don't go to tata.com.
Oh, man. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at KillerB420 and Instagram at KillerBDabs.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but soon enough.
You can find me at RQ on Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube.
And you can find us at
Coming Up for Air Podcast on TikTok,
and
Up for Aircast on Twitter, and Up for Air Podcast?
Up for Aircast.
Up for Aircast on Instagram.
Ooh, got him.
If you liked this episode or think it was a mistake, still go ahead, like, subscribe, rate the podcast, follow it, do all that cool stuff.
Send it to your mother, your sister, your grandmother, your brother, everybody in the family, even if the baby, bro.
Yeah, send it to the boss baby.
Yeah, bro. Have your dog watch it. Let us know what he thinks about it. I better hear some roofs in the fucking comment. I'm feeling it today, bro.
Coming up next week, by the way. Next week or the week after, we will have our new set pretty much. So we'll be in a new layout.
Soon enough, baby.
At least that's the hope.
Yeah, we'll see.
Wah. But till then,
be a good human being.
and see you next Wednesday.
And good night, America.